Hello and welcome to Mainly BnB Mastery. I'm Jeff Davis, a 10-year Airbnb superhost and Verbo Premier host. I'm the founder of Proactive Properties with 20 years of experience building startups in the tourism and hospitality industries. If you haven't done so already, check out our intro to Mainly BnB Mastery episode, where we give you a preview of what you can expect from this series. We're bringing you free content and expertise from what we've learned over a decade of owning and managing Airbnb vacation rentals everywhere from the French Alps to Southwest Florida to the mountains, lakes, and coast of Maine. Today, we're going to be talking about a couple of different subjects, including why I love short-term rentals, and I think you should too, whether owning or purchasing a home to use as an Airbnb vacation rental is a smart investment, and then how to get started if you don't already have a rental property or second home. So the first thing I'd like to discuss is, why I love Airbnb vacation rentals. In my other businesses, I have owned international travel companies, and I've done a lot of travel around the world. And I've stayed in hotels. I've seen ones that do it well. I've seen ones that don't do it very well. I've stayed in vacation homes. I've stayed in Airbnb, what we call Airbnb now, before Airbnb was even around. But as this asset class has developed and as it's become more professional, hosts have had to become more professional. In the early days, you had to bring your own sheets, your own towels. It was really just bare bones. But that's not something that works anywhere anymore. And this is really where Airbnb kind of raised the bar and changed the way that people perceive vacation rentals. You're now expected to provide nearly hotel level services in most of these places, which is not a bad thing. It definitely makes it a lot better when I'm traveling, and I love being able to provide that to my guests as well. So what allows you to get into Airbnb, and how can you use that to continue to maybe own your family's vacation home with the taxes, with the expenses that go into it over time? If you were to sell it, you wouldn't have it anymore in the family, obviously. You maybe have some money from it. Maybe you have to pay capital gains taxes. If you do long-term rentals in it, you're not able to use it. So the vacation rental offer is really, really important because it allows you to use it with your friends and family when you want, but you're able to actually make it make sense financially when you're not using it. And there's a whole lot of benefits that go into this as well. If anybody who's gone into renting their second home would tell you, one of the wonderful things is when you show up, it's probably cleaner than you've ever had it before because you constantly have people there. You have your cleaners on site, you have your various contractors there taking care of things. If anything is needing to be done at all, you always have somebody telling you about any kind of maintenance. So that's a real positive in that as well. The other aspect of this is taking something that is currently a liability and turning it into an asset. So anybody who's read Robert Kiyosaki's Rich Dad, Poor Dad can attest to this. His definition of an asset is something that puts money in your pocket. And his definition of liability is something that takes money out of your pocket. If you have a vacation home, it is not something that's putting money in your pocket unless you're able to use it as a vacation rental. Vacation rentals are the only asset class I know in real estate, or really anything for that matter, where you can make money. You can have a place to enjoy time with family and friends. It will appreciate and go up in value over the long term if you're in any type of a decent location. And it also provides tax benefits along the way. So that's really why I love vacation rentals myself. It just gives you the benefits of any type of real estate that you own. It allows you to also use it. And I find that compared to others, I have long-term, I do owner financing of property they own as well. But all of those, they require a lot more maintenance than a vacation rental property. And there's a lot of reasons for that we can get into in later episode. The second topic that we'll cover here is whether or not owning and purchasing a home to use as a vacation rental, Airbnb, is a smart investment. The answer to that question can be very complex and depends on the person. But really, at its core, if the property is well located in a vacation destination, we're talking about, not stuff that just popped up during COVID where people went because they couldn't go anywhere else. I'm talking about long time established vacation destination, places where people have traveled for a long time because they're incredible places to either get out of the cities. They're driving distance to places where a lot of people live, or, fly to destinations that just have incredible nature, different things like this. Well located is an important part. The next part is if they're professionally managed. And this is what I was talking about earlier, where this is not like the early days of Airbnb, or for a lot of people during COVID, where you could just put up a listing and people are going to click on it and stay there because there's no hotels or anything else for them to do. To be successful now, you have to be professional. You have to treat your business as a professional. You have to treat your vacation rental as a professional. Professionally managed means you can do it on your own, but it takes a lot of time and education to go into that. I think anybody can do it if they are willing and they have the time to do that. Or you hire a professional that's going to be able to handle your revenue management, streamline the processes. And if you do that, your vacation rental will make 5 to 7 times what a long-term rental will with that same exact property. But it takes work. So summarizing there, if you're going to manage it on your own, it is a job. It's not a long-term rental where you buy a piece of property and there's no furniture or anything. You sign a lease and you're basically just responsible for the taxes and repairs. It's not like that. You're going to have to be dealing with the guests leading up to the time of their stay, questions and issues that come up during their stay. You're going to have to constantly be promoting and marketing this either on the platforms, like the platform being Airbnb, Vrbo, Booking.com, Google Vacation Rentals, your own direct booking website, all those kind of things. But it is work. So is it worth it? Yes. If you're able to put the time into it, or if you hire a professional, it absolutely is worth it if you buy in the right market. The last thing that I want to cover in this brief episode is how you get started if you don't already have a vacation rental property or a second home. For those of you that already have that, I think it's a no-brainer to turn it into a vacation rental property. And there's ways that you can kind of protect the sentimental value, certain things that you have that you normally have displayed and all that kind of thing. As long as you're willing to make a couple of smart sacrifices, that's easy to do. But if you don't have that vacation rental property, if you haven't bought something yet as an investment property, how do you go about doing that? Well, this depends on your certain financial situation. If you have cash, buy cash. The interest rates now are not terrible, but they're not great, right? If you have cash to buy the property, you can buy the property, but leveraging the money that you can borrow for a vacation rental property is a very good thing to do if you know how to do it and you're in a position to, because it allows you to scale more. If you found a property that you were going to buy for, let's say, $300,000, if you were going to do that through a conventional loan, that's typically 20% down, right? So you're going to be putting $60,000 down on the property. That's not something that everybody can do. With that being said, if you can get a conventional loan on a vacation rental conventional loan, that means it counts against your debt to income ratio. You're going to have to provide your personal finances for all of that type of thing. That can be 10% down. If you don't qualify because of your debt to income ratio, let's say your income isn't enough or you have other debts that just doesn't make that DTI, the debt to income ratio, line up, you can actually buy this through an LLC that you form, and you can get what's called a residential commercial loan. So it's a commercial loan, but on a residential property. It does require 20% down, but that doesn't affect your debt to income ratio at all. So that kind of shows separately. You're providing information to the bank that's lending it to you, but at the same time, not doing a thorough check on you yourself, because what they're going to look at is how will this property perform? They're not looking to see if you can afford it if it doesn't make any money. So that's the big difference in that. So, to summarize again, if you have a vacation rental home, it's very easy to get it up on Airbnb or the other channels, but you want to be on more than just one channel. You don't want to just be on Airbnb. Airbnb represents about 70% of the market, but you don't want to miss out on the other 30%. We're going to share with you how to capitalize on that other 30% and maybe even turn that 70% of Airbnb into some of your direct bookings in future episodes. Thank you so much for watching and listening, and we look forward to talking to you. If you're ready to turn your main vacation home into a 5-star, high-performing asset to earn more and stress less, visit us at proactiveproperties.me. That's ME as in Maine. Or connect with us on social media at Mainely BnB Mastery. Don't wait. Reach out today. We'd love to help.